Good evening and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Now, this may not be Speedway related, but just for once I'm going to say something personal and related to me, because I'm really fed up at the moment. I'd like to say thank you very much to Sky Broadband and Overreach for not supplying me with my internet for 2 weeks running. I'd like to say thank you to Overreach for having such a stupid booking system. So you go online to book your appointment.
Booking, didn't you?
I did say booking. Yeah, you go online to book your engineer, and it says, "What's your name?" So you pop that in, and then it says, "Which day is best suited for you? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday?" And I'm thinking, well, none of them, because like most of us, I go to flipping work. And so you think, well, I'll try Thursday and see what happens. Then it tells you to pick a time, and the time slots, you've got 2 time slots you can pick. You can pick from 9 o'clock till 1, or from 1 o'clock till 6. Now, who's going to work can guarantee that they're going to be in those times? Particularly now, when you live on your own as well as I do. I mean, you know, what do you do? So I thought, well, I got somebody to come in on the Thursday, so I picked Thursday and picked a time. And then it just went, yeah, okay, we'll get back in touch with you. And then they never did. I mean, I'm absolutely... What's that got to do with Speedway, you may ask?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Right,
only this. People are being treated more and more to things like that in their daily life. And it's a big frustration, and people just walk away. People will walk away from Sky because of that. I have recently walked away from Virgin because of similar sort of problems. And Speedway promoters have got to learn that lesson. That if people get frustrated, they will walk away.
There you go.
So there you go. I brought it round.
Well done. Well done.
Hey.
Clever. I don't think you're that stupid, really.
No, I've never been called clever before, but I'll take it.
You're called stupid a lot.
Yeah. It is my middle name. So anyway, some of us have seen some Speedway this week.
Some of us have, yes.
Well, one of us.
There were 11 heats worth.
Yeah,
last night at Monmouth. So.
Tell us, was it good to be back?
Yeah, it was good to be back. It was a good crowd. There wasn't a huge amount of Belvoir fans there in comparison to as they've been in recent seasons. Maybe they had a premonition or something. It wasn't going to be very good, but a 26-point lead to take into the first leg that was supposed to be the second leg. But
it could have been more.
Got rained off. It may well have been more. To be brutally honest, the track I don't think was too bad. You know, there was a lot of rain. Came down in quite a sharp shower, but the track was okay still. It stopped, and then of course all the riders sort of congregated round on the track, standing in a big circle, chatting while it started raining again. So, that sort of put the
only in Speedway.
Yeah. There were a few concerns around the terraces because obviously it was a heat 11, and people were saying, well, it's the result will stand because we've gone past 10 heats, and people were saying, no, it's gone back to 12. And certainly a lot of debate, and a few people were quite worried about whether that 26-point lead was going to be in vain. But as it turned out, it was announced. Of course, it is 10 heats still. So,
where did people get the idea it was 12? I've not heard that.
Well, you wouldn't have put it past Speedway to have done that and decided not to bother to tell anybody until they actually come to use it. But
I think they'd be much more likely to put it to 8.
But I have to say, as well as Wolves rode last night, and it was a very good performance. Everybody contributed well to the big score on last night. Belvoir were dreadful. They really were.
Which is surprising.
They never got going. They haven't got a great record at Monmouth in recent seasons, but they were particularly poor last night. I mean, certainly their top two of Dan Bewley and Brady Kurtz were a massive disappointment, only picking up 7 points from 3 rides apiece. I mean, Belvoir should have been looking for at least 20 points combined. From those,
Dan Bewley hasn't had a great start, has he?
He hasn't had a great start, no. He rode okay in the Peter Craven meeting apparently, but his scores in the club matches so far haven't been great. It's I don't know what it is. I mean, it's
pressure.
maybe pressure. You know, I mean, the last time obviously he was over here for riding for Bellevue. Of course, he was a second, third leader, second string. But he's number one now. There's a big expectation on him to pick up the form that he showed last season, winning at Cardiff and the other Grand Prix that he won. And it's not really happened for him yet so far. Maybe a little sit down with somebody and say, look, come on, Dan. You've done well last season, but last season's gone now. You've got to kick on from this. You've got to be consistent over a period of season. He's filling some big shoes, to be fair, in Matty Zagar, who was a big scorer for Bellevue and a big reason why they won the league last season. And I think obviously as well with Norrick Bladone and Tom Brennan last season, of course, they were at reserve. This season they're at 2 and 3. So particularly difficult for Bladone because, I mean, it's a cliche, but, riding at number 2 is the hardest position to race.
It is, absolutely.
To race in the league. So there's going to be an expectation on them to improve as well. It was a very disappointing performance from Bellevue, but a 26-point win with the second leg still to come, which has now been rearranged for the 8th of May, which is obviously the bank holiday for the coronation. At 12 o'clock, I think, start, as it would have been had it been staged yesterday. So I've already got my ticket for that one. I was going to go last night, going to go yesterday morning, but that ticket now rolls over to that one. So hopefully, finally, after it seems like years, Wolves are going to progress to the next round of the Knockout Cup, which is something that we don't do very often. So
yeah, same with Birmingham as well, really. But we'll see how that all pans out. I believe you've got a few hellos and stuff.
Yes, hello to Ben Clifton, Rich Thomas, Jeff Daniels, Craig Smee, Stephen Bradford, Elliot Hunt, Dave Twine, and all the rest.
Okay, and is there any comments to...
So, evening. Is it wrong that mid-April, and I am already getting... I can't see the rest of that for some reason.
You need to move the bar at the bottom.
Getting worried.
About...
there we go. Already getting worried about the missus in her first season playing is Saturday joint top of the Prediction League.
I'm more worried about who's at the bottom, but...
and bottom but one.
Yeah.
Crikey, yeah. Good evening, gents. I was away last week, so I would have missed your show, so I was probably the only one that was happy it was cancelled. Let's not talk about Virgin Media.
Yes, that was... because you had internet-y problems.
Well, I had no internet.
No, it's all now.
It's rubbish, absolutely terrible.
It's
terrible.
I blame the Chinese.
And it says second leg is 8th of May at 12 p.m. It was a tremendous win for Wolves. All the pairings work superb for us, says Elliot. Apparently the sound is fine. And Dave Twine said, I read the rules. Is it 10 hits?
Yes, it is 10 hits. Yeah. There was a few people sort of scaremongering that it was 12 hits, and idiots like me nearly fell for it. So
you can also out there on Facebook use the stars thing, donate some stars to us.
Yeah. All goes to charity.
All goes to charity.
Yeah. There are some more comments which haven't appeared on there for some reason. Craig Smith says probably the worst team performance from the Aces I've seen for a long time. Okay. If this form continues, averages may allow us to bring back Zagar again.
Could that be a... Well, we're getting into conspiracy theories already.
Or Robert Lambert as well. That will please everybody again, like he did last season. So
wouldn't it? And then you've got, I mean, you look at Kings Lynn as well and their start to the season.
Shambolic, really, wasn't it?
Terrible.
I mean, they were terrible on the previous Monday at Monmouth. But maybe you put that down to the fact that a lot of them hadn't turned a wheel before that meeting, so maybe a little bit race rusty, but. They weren't much better. In fact, they were probably worse at Sheffield. Admittedly, Sheffield are a stronger team, but big concerns, particularly over Christoph Kasperzak's start to the season.
And Simon says, "Are they dropping? Are they dropping early to get Zagar back?" Well, that's not on there, but it is a comment.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that'd be very, very cynical, wouldn't it?
It would be cynical.
So why am I sounding surprised?
Be interesting to see if Bewley is riding in the UK like other top riders do at number one and getting a fixed fee per meeting rather than money per point. So he's guaranteed a pay packet regardless of what he scores.
I mean, it's difficult to comment on that.
Well, we don't know the deals, the terms of his contract, do we? So we're not likely to either.
No,
but
why should we? Yeah,
absolutely not. But
I shall try and get the comments back while you chat on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Actually, when people can put comments back on, I'd like an answer to a question from them because I was in Mallorca.
Oh, for goodness sake!
When
How many times has he told us that?
when the Speedway Star with all the predictions in it came out, and I never got to see it, and it's the first time for a very long time. So people would like to put what the Speedway Star ended up predicting for each league down there. I would be eternally grateful. So there you go.
Let's not talk about the prediction league, though.
No,
Not for a bit anyway.
Not
so.
not for a little bit.
What the hell's going on there? I think I might have got the shut back on there for that. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let me just switch that off so we can't hear ourselves. There we go.
Yes, please. Get to watch tonight with Plymouth being off tonight, says Nick.
Yep, of course.
Rich Thomas says, Kasperzak gone by May, not June.
gone by April, the way things are going, I think so.
This is Jeff Daniels. I went to watch the Bellevue against Berwick, massive 61-29 for Colts. But the rider who impressed most was James Pearson, who, very neat and stylish rider, paid maximum for him, gating well and some great overtakes. Certainly a star of the future. Well, yeah, I mean, I think down at Birmingham, we all think that.
It's going to be a huge boost for him getting more rides as well. I think.
Yeah, hopefully he can carry some of this form into the championship as well. Yeah. It would be great for us if he did. Is Pedersen still at Peterborough? Says Simon.
Well, this one seems to be rumbling on, doesn't it, a little bit? He rode over the weekend in Poland and got an 18-point maximum, I believe, Nicky Pedersen.
Did he?
So obviously no ill effects from his injury that he picked up on the opening night at Peterborough, but it seems to be keeping it very, very quiet at the moment, which is a bit concerning. And we all say, this is where you get sort of mushroom management a little bit, kept in the dark and fed nothing. So, but
yes,
hopefully there's a few rumblings of discontent already at Peterborough, which is not really what they need this season, particularly with all the doubts surrounding their.
I seem to remember the last time he rode for Peterborough, it was a similar story.
Yes, it was a little bit, wasn't it? But,
I hope they sort it out. I hope he sorts it out.
I certainly hope so, because it's great. The thought of he might not be the rider that he once was, but having Nicky back in the top league is still going to be absolutely.
We should talk about some of the riders that have come back. You've got ML Saifutinov has started off like a rocket.
Yep.
Along with Jason Doyle, of course. I mean, that's a scary top two.
They did, but they were certainly given a run for the money by Leicester last week. I mean, Leicester are at Monmouth in a couple of weeks. That's going to be a much bigger test, I think, than the Bellevue and Kings Lynn matches were, because Leicester look a pretty tidy outfit, I think. They certainly would have been pleased to have got as close as they did to.
Yeah. But you have to, with that top two, you've got to
keep it close, only because
you've got to take a lead, haven't you? Really, into heat 13.
You get to 13 and 15, and you see Doyle and Saifutinov coming out for the home team. You're thinking,
you need more than 8 points by then, don't you? Really, essentially. Craig said he's read the Speedway Star, and he said he thinks they predicted Sheffield to win the Premiership and Redcar to win the Championship. Well, Redcar haven't had the best of starts either.
No, they haven't really.
And Craig Smee also said he's noticed that they thought, now I don't understand this, so maybe somebody can elucidate for me. That's elucidate, not hallucinate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was away with the theories.
He was hallucinating. Also noticed that they thought Birmingham could be a storied package in Championship.
What does that
mean? A storied
mean?
Package? Is that a good thing?
Surprise package, is that
surprise
possible?
Maybe? Could be a surprise package in Championship.
Could be.
I think that's where we are.
There's a lot of negativity about the Birmingham team, isn't there? Being in the build-up, which is a bit.
It started turning around a little bit. I've noticed, though. I think more people have looked at it and thought, well, actually, it will depend on how quick James Wright gets back.
Yeah,
because he started off really, really well. But if Lawrence is out there, maybe he could give us an update on his injury. Yep. That'd be nice. Okay, so I don't presume we have any matches tonight.
With the Plymouth meeting being off, then no.
So yeah, I don't think there's going to be matches anywhere for a couple of days while the weather's going.
Not very nice out here at the moment.
I mean, I don't like trying to predict things because you never know. And they say it's going to be really horrible and so on tomorrow, but we might wake up tomorrow and find the sun shining. It's happened before, so
yep.
Hey ho. So we'll talk a little bit then about some of the riders that have started well, some of the riders that perhaps haven't started so well, and some of the riders that we've all been excited to see. So you Jason Doyle and your Emil Saifutinov. Great to have.
Certainly, nothing really surprising in Jason Doyle starting the season because he's a class act, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's been one of the few top riders that has been continuously loyal to British Speedway over the years. Always a big scorer, good ride, good team man as well, and leads from the front.
It was a big surprise to see the signing of Emil Saifutinov.
Pleasant surprise, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because Emil's still a class act, obviously, as a rider. He's 32, 33 now. It seems like he's been around forever, doesn't it? Because he made that big breakthrough way back in 2009. And sort of took everybody by surprise, really.
I always remember, it's always stuck in my head actually, that my son saw his name and said, "Why is he called Sad Foot in Mouth?" That sort of stuck with me. Sad Foot in Mouth.
You can tell it's your son, can't you?
Yeah, so yes. So if I come out with that occasionally, I do apologise.
No, usually put it in your mouth.
We should give some news as well. There has been a statement issued on the British Speedway website.
Yes.
From the Speedway Control Bureau, of course. People, obviously, who will know, or if you haven't know, will tell you, of course, there have been a couple of incidents, shall we say, over the weekend.
Handbags.
You could say that. And the statement has been issued today. It reads as follows. Following incidents at the Sheffield v Kings Lynn fixture on April the 6th involving Sheffield's Lewis Kerr, and at the Glasgow v Edinburgh fixture April the 9th involving Glasgow's Benjamin Basso, it has been reported to the Speedway Control Bureau that both riders had breached the Speedway regulation 018.2. This regulation reads as follows. Any act which is violent, threatening or of abusive nature to an official, rider or any other person, which is a breach of rule. The Speedway Control Bureau, having viewed the footage from both incidents, have issued both Mr Kerr and Mr Basso with a cash penalty, and both riders have been warned of their future actions. Mr Kerr and Mr Basso have 28 days to pay their cash penalties as of April the 11th, 2023. Both incidents.
Okay, so I mean, I've now witnessed both of those situations because you showed them to me.
Yeah.
Handbags, really, wasn't it? It wasn't.
We used to see it quite often in Spain. You think of Sky darting out on Craig Boyce punching Thomas Goll up to the to the floor. That for
I've seen a fair few little spats and stuff, and it certainly gets the crowd going.
Well, I mean, both of these incidents have seen quite a bit of publicity for Speedway in some of the newspapers, which is they all publicity is good publicity, whether it's good or negative, things like that. But I think as long as it doesn't what it's like. Riders, obviously the adrenaline's running there. Sometimes you do lose your head, don't you, when somebody cuts you up on the track or something, and you want to sort of make your point across.
It's road rage.
As long as it doesn't sort of go off in the pits afterwards, and
I mean, the one thing I should say, looking at it, is that the track staff and some of the other riders and so on did exactly the right thing. They just got in between them and said, right, you go that way and you go that way, and it was stopped. So.
My big issue with this has always been when things like that happen and you get mechanics who sort of decide to join in and get involved, and
like the Scott Nichols and Emil Saifutinov situation. Talking of Scott Nichols, had a flying start.
Yep, he has had a flying start.
Surprised, and will a question that somebody asked on the shout box that I can't see at the moment. So sorry, I can't see your name. Do you think Wolves will consider stopping him?
Well, of course, he had signed on a 28-day deal last week within 24 hours of that Kingsley match. So he was due to race for Wolves over the last 2 days. But from what I gather, picked up an injury in Poland over the weekend.
Right.
Came off. I mean, this was sort of kept a little bit quiet. I mean, we obviously when the rides were coming out for the parade on Monday was the first time I sort of double took and thought, well, why is Chris Harris walking in front of me with a Wolves race jacket and not Scott Nichols?
Right.
It hadn't been announced at all. So I think what's happened, I don't know whether
Chris Harris has had a good start.
He has had a good start. Yeah, I don't know whether what's happened is because it's sort of being kept hush. To be fair, whether the 28-day deal has been scrapped and so Harris is coming as a guest for Luke Becker.
Right.
I don't know. So it's been a bit of a stranger on that was there. I don't know whether anybody's going to really get involved and sort of make any explanations as to what's happened in terms of that. But but I mean Scott Nichols has had a very good start. So I think obviously it's going to be beneficial to him as well. The fact that he's only doing the championship this season, unless of course somebody comes along in the Premiership and offers him a big deal. But I think a lot of it is going to be intertwined with his media duties because obviously he's going to be heavily involved with Eurosport during the
GP
season, during the GP season, and of course during their league programme as well, which is obviously on a Monday. So if that's the case, then he certainly won't be riding for Wolves if he's going to be.
You could see him. You could see him if they're doing Wolves on a Monday. You could see him popping into the pits, getting on the bike, going out, come out with a microphone and interviewing himself. But sorry, I'm not very well.
No. You've never been right in the head.
Simon Corbett says Craig Cook Basser.
Yep, that was the one at. Always nice to see a little bit of spice between the two big Scottish clubs, isn't it? So, which as long as it doesn't sort of escalate and go in further. If people go in the pit and start doing it again,
or if it starts getting into the crowd, we don't want that in Speedway. Yeah. What do we think about the current situation with Nicky Pedersen at Peterborough? Will he be staying or team change?
I hope he does stay, but I'm getting the inkling that he's.
Who do you change Pedersen for? That's a big shoes to
fill.
fill.
I don't think it's going to be Chris Holder after the comments that he made on social media about Peterborough when the deal fell through for him.
Right.
There was, during the winter, there was a lot of speculation that Peterborough had been looking at trying to sign Artem Laguta. Now, I don't know whether there's anything in that at all, but I mean that would be a big boost for British Speedway if they could get him.
That can't come cheap, can it?
He certainly wouldn't come cheap for Peterborough.
But then I don't imagine Pedersen does either. So
no, absolutely not. I mean, Seifertloff and Dole won't have come cheap for Ipswich. So
interesting comment from Craig Smee. So riders who are fighting get a fixed penalty but no ban. Now, I'm quite old school and like a bit of handbags, but the way things are these days, I'm surprised it's not a fine and a ban for the riders involved.
Yeah, there does seem. I think what's mainly in there was when I think back, I can't remember what year it was now. I think it was 99 when we had the infamous Martin Dugard, Stefan Anderson incident at Eastbourne, which really was. I mean, we're talking about you don't want it going over the top. That was well over the top. I mean,
right.
that was a criminal assault,
right?
At the time by Martin Dugard. If that upsets people, I'm sorry, but that's how I saw it at the time, and that's how I see it now. All these years later, it was absolutely disgraceful. But I think maybe that's sort of with the way things are in the world as well. There seems to be a case of being easily offended by things, doesn't it? So. I mean, yes, we want to promote Speedway as a clean sport, but I don't think there's any issues with a little bit of needle now and again.
No,
it's got to be competitive, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it gets people talking, doesn't it? As long as it's so. So as we've said, as long as it doesn't spiral out of control, and you end up with serious things happening.
Yeah,
and in the end, it's entertainment business, isn't it?
I'm told so. Yes, that's what I think.
We want to be entertained.
Craig Smee says, if the rumours are true about Pedersen leaving Peterborough, what would the reason be behind him leaving? A poor stroke dangerous track? I think it would be that he's not performing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's gone on record as saying that he's got no plans to retire. You know, he's obviously had a few pretty bad accidents in the last few seasons. I mean, it does. I think I said a couple of weeks ago. It does seem at the moment with Nicky that every time he comes off, he gets crocked. Hopefully his career doesn't sort of peter out and end like that. But
Nicky's problem then is that he's a full-blooded rider.
He's only got one one-way riding. I think, you know, if anybody's expecting Nicky to be one of these riders that's just going to purtle around to the back and keep out of trouble, and they're going to be in for a shock because it's not in his mindset. You know, he wants to win every single race. That's why he's sort of stayed at the top for as long as he had. His competitiveness and his will to win remains as intense as it was when he was racing at the top.
Okay, okay. So we've got a few more comments now. Well done.
Thank you.
You're working hard there.
Yeah, it's not refreshing for some reason.
Yeah, a good rider in Poland, underrated Simon Wozniak.
Simon Wozniak, of course, who rode for Leicester a few years ago when they were last in the top line. He's a good rider. He's actually, but he probably wouldn't come cheap again. So,
well, I don't think anything with the Polish tag is going to come cheap, is it?
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels, Wolves redeclared on Monday morning with Becker back in team, so Harris could guess for Becker because Harris' average is 7.6. Scotty's is only 5.4, hence Harris guessing.
Yeah,
so,
it was going to be something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Only in Speedway. Only in Speedway.
But he did well, Bomber. I mean, again, like you say, he's had a good start to the season. Chris Harris. Could say Chris Riley until he's 50 to be fair.
Yes.
And still being as good as well. So.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
46, is he?
What is it?
No,
he's about 40. He's about the same age as me.
Oh, about our age.
I know it's hard to believe I'm 40, but
Yeah.
God, looks a lot older, doesn't it?
Well,
I feel
Chris
older.
Harris. Careful. Yes. Let's not go any further than that because I think I am the oldest here.
Oh,
Just
by
by
at least 10 years.
by a couple of months, I think.
Probably, yeah. Apparently, Pedersen's Polish club were going to fine him every time he rode for Peterborough. A bit strange when Frick rides in the same Polish team.
Run that back past me again.
Oh, okay, then.
I hadn't seen that.
Apparently, Pedersen's Polish club were going to fine him every time he rode for Peterborough, which is a bit strange when Frick rides in the same Polish team.
Can they do that?
There you go.
Well, it doesn't stop them doing
that.
things like that in the past, does it? The Poles, unfortunately.
well.
Craig's replied, is that because he got injured and was missing meetings
Maybe.
in Poland?
If that's the case. I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, what happens at Peterborough is of no concern to his Polish team and vice versa. You know, they want him performing for them. They're not bothered about what he does for Peterborough. So.
We should take some lessons from them, I think.
And there you go. We've actually caught up.
We've
It's
caught
took
up.
30
Okay.
minutes, but we got there.
Where that was hard work.
Yeah.
Talking about hard work, I think now's a good time to have a look
And our predictions.
at our prediction league, where we stand,
Well, I know where two of you stand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
with everybody up piled on top of us.
So, sorry, I haven't been able to get it up. So send the bishop to the barmaid. But I haven't put the table up. I haven't had time. I've been so busy.
I thought your missus looked unhappy.
Hey, steady.
Infamy. Yes.
Infamy. But yeah, so you'll have to tell
Well,
us. Tell us where we stand while I try and get one.
Michael is 25th, although that's predominantly because last week he forgot to put his scores in.
Yeah.
And Mr. Browne is 24th, and I think I'm 15th, or something like that. So I'm not doing much
Not
better.
doing much better. Where?
We're supposed to be experts at it. We're all struggling.
Well, you got
down
any
there.
more good jokes?
Experts? Okay.
What are we supposed to be experts of? Because it ain't Speedway.
Oh, actually, I can quickly get them up on here, can't I? In a second.
It would be nice. It's very professional. This is, isn't it?
We just make it up as we go.
Yeah, we'll just ask the listener to talk amongst himself.
I've had camera trouble, so I've been trying to
see
sort
the doctor about that.
I've been trying to sort that out more than anything, so it should be further
There
down.
we
Here we go. I'm afraid it's a
Very
bit
difficult to see. But anyway, at the top is Bradley Gray.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's on
15.
15. That's a new
quite a few
name.
on 15. A couple on 15. Daniel
Daniel
Lynn's on
Lynn.
15 as well. John Bird is on 14 and 14. So is Ben Clifton.
Oh, Ben, you're letting the side down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Simon, tut, how the mighty have fallen.
There's
Still
some
a long
new
way to
names
go,
there.
yeah.
There's some new names there as well.
Yeah, there's a few new names on
Pretty
there.
Yes,
pretty
it
is
good,
top,
yeah,
so-
good.
And the only way is up for me.
Yeah. I mean, look at me right down there. And I've actually submitted 2 predictions. That's pretty bad, isn't it? That's pretty bad.
It's not great.
No, it's not
Great.
bad. Where's Simon? Oh, Simon. Really hang on to his crown.
Still a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. Yeah. Craig Smees on 10. Nick Matthews on 9th. Elliot Hunt, Gordon Campbell, Kev Lilly. There's a few new names there. It's anybody's at this time.
Good,
isn't it?
good,
Yeah,
to see,
yeah.
good to see. Good to see. Do they know what the prize is, by the way?
Well, if
there
you win,
might not be so many people next
you
week.
could win a mug.
A mug.
A mug, not any old mug, because you get a T-shirt with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, you get Matt delivering a T-shirt to you.
yeah.
Padish. These are the jokes, folks. Shall we get straight off then and whiz through our predictions?
Go on then. Yep. We'll start
Now,
off.
before we go, you don't get anything for predicting a rain off.
No. So don't do that, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Okay then. So we will start with tomorrow.
Start off.
There's nothing on tonight, is there?
No, the first one is tomorrow. It's in the BSN series, Southern Section, Oxford against Plymouth.
Oxford against Plymouth. Plymouth have not had a bad start, have they? From what I remember.
Okay.
Right, who's going to go with this one?
I'll go first.
Go
I'll
on then.
go for Oxford by 6.
Oxford, I'll go. So
Yeah.
around that way. Okay, Oxford by 10.
Okay. I'll say Oxford by 8. I'm just going to go in the middle of you two and hope I can get off the bottom of this league.
Okay, next up is the Midland Derby, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed that one day this will be a
Proper match.
proper
yeah.
match. Birmingham against the Coventry Bees select at Perry Bar tomorrow.
I've looked at the Coventry team. It don't look too bad, actually.
It is a bona fide Coventry side as well, because they've
Yeah.
all obviously got associations. Even young Freddie Hodder at the bottom. I think his grandfather rode for the
Rode
Bees
for
back in
them,
the back in the 60s, I think. So
Okay, Chris, your prediction?
Sorry, what was it?
Birmingham versus Coventry. Goodness me.
It's a meaningless fixture, isn't it, really?
I don't think the Coventry supporters will see it that way.
I'll go.
they will bring a lot over, I think, Coventry. So
Yeah, it's still meaningless. I'll go Birmingham by 10.
I'm going to say Birmingham by 2.
I'll go for Birmingham by 6.
I think rider replacement for James Wright's going to weaken us. I have a question about a rider replacement for James Wright. Are we going to be able to still have rider replacement? I mean, it's a challenge match, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
when we get to Redcar, if he's not fit, are we still able to have rider replacement
For a
him?
rider that's never ridden
That's
for
not
Birmingham
ridden
before.
Well, he has ridden for us before, but
Not for a long time.
not for a
is it?
while.
No.
Is that possible now? I know the rule used to be that you couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's the same.
Well, I'm sure they'll think of something they usually do. So.
Might have to sign somebody on a 28 day.
Yep. Okay, next up, this will be an interesting one. Ipswich against Bellevue.
Well, that's, not a great start by Bellevue. Not exactly the sort of track that that a Bellevue rider would possibly like. Very, very chalk and cheese tracks. It's got to be an Ipswich win. So I will go Ipswich by 12.
Okay. I've got Ipswich by 16.
I'll go by, I like 16. 16.
You might want to change your minds because Simon Corbett said Ipswich have got no risk.
Haven't they? That could be painful.
Yeah.
No, I still think Ipswich will have too much for Bellevue, and certainly if Bellevue are right like they did on Monday. Next up, Kings Lynn against Wolves.
Oh dear.
That's what I was thinking as well.
And it's your choice.
Ooh. Kings Lynn have had a terrible start, haven't they?
They've had an awful start. I mean, to be talking about making changes after your first match.
But then again, it's not a track Wolves generally do that well on.
There's no secret about Kings Lynn's track, though, is it?
No, I wish somebody had tossed with the Wolves rods, is it though? Go on, I'll go for Wolves by 4. It's rather unconvincing, but...
Chris?
I'll go Wolves by 6.
I'm going to say Wolves by 10.
I like yours better than mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it even better if it's right.
Okay. Next up is Leicester against Bellevue.
It doesn't get any easier for Bellevue, does it?
Leicester against Peterborough. My apologies.
Oh,
Okay.
God, you can't kill stuff, can you? No. Who's up to?
We wouldn't have you if we could. Your go.
Okay, no risk. Bellevue by 4.
That'd be really good because they're not riding.
Who was it again?
Leicester against Peterborough.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I'll go Leicester by 6.
You know when you said we can't get the staff?
Look, I'm multitasking. I can't do everything.
I'm going to say Leicester by 16.
I'm going to say Leicester by 10 on that one. Okay, next up we move on to Friday. Glasgow against Berwick in the BSN series.
Okay, so he's up to me. I'm going to say Glasgow by 10.
I'm going to say Glasgow by 12.
I'll go Glasgow by 8.
Okay, next up Scunthorpe against Oxford. That's in the Championship.
Scunthorpe versus Oxford. It's up to you, Matt.
Scunthorpe by 2.
Yeah, it is that sort of a match, isn't it?
I'll go Scunthorpe by 6.
Okay, I'm going to go for a draw.
I thought he'd get one draw in somewhere. So.
I wonder why he's always on the bottom.
Okay. Next up, we drop down into the National League. It's the Edinburgh Academy against the Bellevue Colts.
It's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Bellevue Colts by 6. I ain't really got a clue.
James Pearson's riding into...
Well, he has ridden at Edinburgh.
And he has ridden
before.
at Edinburgh before. I'm going to say Bellevue by... what did you say? By how many? 6. I'm going to say Bellevue by 8.
I'm going to say Edinburgh by 2.
Interesting.
Okay. So next up is the return match in the BSN series in the Scottish section, Berwick against Glasgow.
I seem to get the Glasgow Berwick matches all the time. I'm going to say... Berwick haven't had a really great start, have they? I'm going to say Glasgow by 2.
Up to you, Matt.
So I like the look of Berwick's team. It's a decent, solid side. I don't think it's a league championship winning team, but I'm going to say Berwick by 6.
Who is it, Glasgow versus Berwick?
Berwick versus Glasgow.
I'll go Glasgow by 10.
Wow.
Okay.
There's a reason you're at the bottom.
Definitely.
Not quite bottom, is it?
No, not quite bottom. Bottom is bottom.
Yeah. I think next week we might be looking at something
I'm going to be
different.
nowhere near your bottom.
Well, if results go really bad, they could have a bottom 3 of all 3 of us.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Next up is...
We'll just turn it round and say the ones with the least points are the winners.
Yep.
That's not-
the Moby Pride.
Yeah.
Next up, in the BSN series Northern section, is Redcar against Birmingham.
Interesting. It's up to you, Matt. It's very difficult to pick this one because until we've seen how Birmingham ride.
I really think, I don't think the forecast is promising for tomorrow, but I think Birmingham desperately need to get some track time going into that meeting.
Some of the riders have
some of them have, but I
ride.
think they need to sort of, as a team as well, I think they need to sort of get some time out on the track really together. You don't really want to be going into a meeting having never ridden with each other before, even well, apart from in the practice, of course. But I'll go for Berwick by 10.
Oh, that's interesting because it was Redcar.
Redcar by 10, sorry.
Oh,
Catching.
Oh, yeah, it'll be your next.
what's the matter with him? Oh,
So Redcar by 10, you said?
Yep.
Okay. I would actually probably
Take that.
take that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris.
Who was it again?
The red car versus Birmingham.
I'm going to go red car by 10.
That's exactly what you did. I'm going to
Oh,
say.
right, okay.
I'm going to say red car by 6 because I want to pick up the bonus point. Oh, it's not bonus points there. Is
Not
it?
in the base end, no. Okay.
No.
On Sunday, Mildenhall against Kent in the NDL Knockout Cup semi-final.
Okay.
Second leg.
Semi-final.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mildenhall and Kent raced each other last Sunday and the Sunday before.
Right.
So they must be getting sick of the sight of each other by now.
I think Mildenhall are sort of.
I think
On
Mildenhall
top in that,
I think
at the moment,
Mildenhall have
aren't
got a decent side, to be fair.
Okay, Chris, it's up to you.
I'll go Mildenhall by 12.
And then we've given you this clue. That may or may not be right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Mildenhall by 6. That seems to be my favourite score today.
Yeah, I've got Mildenhall by 14.
Same as Simon Corbett. He's
Yep.
gone for Mildenhall by 14.
Okay, next up.
He's lost his mojo.
Yep. We've got a few more, three more, I should say. Next up in the Premiership is Peterborough against Bellevue.
Oh dear. That's well, I'm going to say Peterborough by 2.
He's really thinking about it, hasn't he, this season? He's doing crap.
Yeah.
Stop thinking.
Go on, Matt. Bad for me, I know.
Peterborough by 10.
I'll go Peterborough by 8.
Okay. Also in the Premiership, but this is in the Knockout Cup quarter-final, second leg, Leicester against Ipswich. Leicester, of course, 6 points down from the first leg.
And
All to
up to
play
you,
for
Matt.
there.
Yeah, 6 points is not a lot, is it, really?
Yeah, although Ipswich do have rods that will go well at Leicester, I think, though. So they've got some rods who are in...
Yeah, well, like AML Seifutamel and Jason Doyle, for instance.
Yep.
Go on, this your pick?
I'll go for Leicester by... Well, I will say it, Leicester by 6.
I'll go Leicester by 4.
I'm going to say it's going to be a draw.
2 draws. Okay.
Yeah.
Pair of draws.
Almost a cupboard.
Well, Daniel Hume's obviously one rider who's got some experience of Leicester, hasn't he? Because he right there in the National League
He
days,
did,
didn't he?
yeah,
So
yeah.
should be a good one for him. And last, by no means least, in the BSN series, Plymouth against Oxford.
Plymouth versus Oxford. It's up to you.
I'll go Plymouth by 4.
Plymouth by 10.
Draw.
Ah, wow.
I'll liquid him.
Okay.
I've not known you give a draw for anything.
No.
Oh, okay. Plymouth by... Is it my... Have I go? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have,
you
haven't I? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you
Well,
went, went Plymouth by 4. So.
Oh, I meant 4, yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So, you better refresh it, I guess.
I have,
that
yeah.
we can-
There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
That's refreshed it, yeah. I think it's just Simon having a go.
Simon desperately trying to claw back his... Still a long way to go, but it is good to see some new names on the list as well this
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah, fantastic, yeah.
Absolutely.
They're not going to win, but...
Well, you say that. There's 2 new names at the top.
Yeah. But say good evening to Barry Young and Dave Edwards are on YouTube as well. I'm sorry I missed your comment. Bellevue not as bad as Kings Lynn, says Barry.
I don't think anybody's as bad as Kings Lynn in all 3 leagues.
Well, I look at the Kings Lynn team, and I mean they haven't had home match yet. I mean they've got riders who should do well at Saddlebow Road. It's whether they can all click at the same time. I think the big problem I think Kings Lynn are going to have is certainly going to be their away form, as has been shown in recent weeks. So.
It's sad to see how low they've gone over the past few seasons, isn't it?
It is really. You think they went back into the top league in? I think they went up the same season as Birmingham did, didn't they?
Yes,
in
they did,
2011,
yeah.
And they really did make a good fist of it in the first few years.
Yeah. Not as good a fist as we did, but
Yeah, they had that one season in there when they had Chris Holder riding for them, and I think they had a lot of problems with him, didn't they? And it just seems since then that things just don't seem to have gone right for Kings Lynn.
yeah, they've had the same sort of problems that we have kept having, which is not being able to find a genuine number one.
Yeah, well, they did have Neil Stevenson for quite a few years, who when he was a genuine number one. Yeah, so it's a shame. Hopefully they can sort themselves out, because Kings Lynn is it's a track that I've never been to. Kings Lynn is one of the few tracks in the top league I haven't seen. So, but it's whenever I've watched meetings there on the telly, it's always been a particularly good racetrack if they can get it right.
It's always been a good racetrack. I mean, until Bellevue came along, it was always the track that was used for
the big events like the World Cup, things like that. So,
David Edwards says he's very happy with the Wolves team at the moment.
Certainly can't grumble about the start.
No.
I think there's going to be bigger challenges to come in the next few weeks.
Although you would have possibly picked Bellevue as being a bigger challenge than they were.
I think so, yeah. Although I've said before, I don't think the Bellevue team this season is quite as strong as it was as the one that won the league last season. It'll be interesting, of course, when that second leg comes round on the 8th of May, whether that's the same Bellevue team or whether they will look to make changes. If they,
do you think there might be a bit of a merry-go-round?
Quite possibly, yeah. Because when I went to Bellevue last season, early in the season, when they had Jake Allen riding for them, and you could you sensed then that they were looking to try and make changes at that stage already. And of course, they brought Matty Zagar in, and they obviously went on and won the league title. So
they did a pull.
They did a pull, yeah.
Essentially,
yeah, they certainly did. Poole have had a decent start again in the championship, as to be expected. I mean, it's funny because we have obviously all backed Redcar to do well, haven't we? But as I say, they haven't had a great start.
Speedway Star apparently backed them to do well as well. So, and Sheffield.
Yeah. I've got mixed thoughts really on Poole, because I mean, to my mind, Poole shouldn't be in that league. They should be in the top league. I think. I worry as well now that there's a CEO running the top league, whether Poole are going to be even more reluctant to go up back into that league. It's to me, to an extent, it's spoilt the championship, because a lot of other clubs in that league now are having to try and spend money that maybe they haven't got to try and keep up with Poole a little bit, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing. No criticism of Poole from that sense, because they've got a promotion that want to be successful, and I suppose that's to their credit.
That's the name of the game, isn't it?
I think sometimes you have to be wary of there's not much point winning everything if there's nobody else around to challenge you. So
I don't think we have got a case of there's nobody else around to challenge Poole, though.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be I get a sense that it's going to be quite a good season for the championship. I do get the sense that the Premiership's going to be a little bit top heavy.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
So perhaps a little bit easier to pick.
Well, I think the fourth spot's certainly up for grabs. I think the top. I think for me the top two spots are going to be Sheffield and Ipswich with Leicester third. That's more for the top three. It's that fourth place. I think. For all the sort of kicking I've given Bellevue on top of their kicking that my team gave them yesterday, I do think Bellevue will get fourth, but I just don't think they'll get any further than that.
Right.
Obviously,
do you think Wolves are in for a chance for fourth?
My concern with Wolves at the moment is what we're going to be able to do on the road. I mean, I think that's going to be a big test on Thursday. against a Kings Lynn team that are going to be absolutely desperate to get a result after the start of the season they've had. And it's not a track, as I say, that Wolves have generally done that well on in the past. So,
well, it's very different, isn't it? It's much more of a sweeping sort of track than the top.
It's a bit of a strange one though, because a lot of the Wolves riders ride Bellevue very well, but seem to struggle at Kings Lynn. They're not that dissimilar as tracks. So.
I think Simon's trying to justify his rubbish start by saying, you never know with injuries.
Yeah.
That doesn't help at all in this game. I think he's lost it. I think you better. I'm sorry. You better give your T-shirt back.
That's right. Yeah, I think that we should wash
it first. Simon,
yeah. Please wash it. Jeff Daniels says Aces have 3 matches in 10 days. Ipswich, Peterborough, Leicester, all away. This should tell Lemon if changes are needed.
Well, that's
I think so. I think Lemon will look to make changes at Bellevue if they're in danger of if the season's sort of in danger of spiralling away. I mean, they look like, to all intents and purposes, they look like they're at the Knockout Cup unless they miraculously throw a 26-point lead away in the second leg.
Well, injuries is the only thing.
So, really after that, the only thing they'll have to go for is obviously to try and hang on to their league title. So,
and it says, who do we think will be riding at 5 for Wolves on Thursday? I would say Adam Ellis if Scott isn't available.
He's not had a great start to the season, Ellis, has he?
no, he hasn't. Obviously, Sheffield aren't riding on Thursday, so that's...
It's a possibility.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of people were saying, well, pick Bomber, but unfortunately Bomber's going to be at Leicester, so he can't be in two places at once.
Not even Bomber.
No. Give it a damn good try, would have thought, but it's not Bomber. But I don't think... I wouldn't mean certainly whether they'll pick Nichols. I don't think they'll pick Nichols, to be fair. Not at Kings Lynn. I think that's his sort of track now. It'll be interesting to see who they pick. I wouldn't be surprised. Adam Ellis is possibly the sort of rider they might go for, but who knows?
I mean, he's quite good at Kings Lynn, from what I remember. Yeah. That is his sort of track, isn't it?
Yeah. It's at Sheffield are the only club that's not riding. So on
that day, it's probably going to be Adam Ellis then,
possible,
or
rider replacement.
Yeah. We shall see.
Isn't this the problem? Bellevue win league and have to release Zagar and Frick to get under average?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it is for Bellevue.
Yep. Said before, having the Speedway is one of those sports that punishes success and rewards failure, doesn't it? A little bit. So
even its pay structure.
Yeah.
Because the more you win by, the more money you have to spend. Because we pay for the points, of course. It's a strange sport.
There's not a way around that to make it fairer.
Well, that's the problem. Is the idea is with the averages is to keep it fair and to stop people with money packets just saying, "Well, I have all the best riders,
and you can have all that lot,
and you can have what's left."
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's designed to do. It does it to a greater or lesser degree, depending on your... but it's needed. Something like that is needed. Some form of rider control, and that's a better way of doing it.
We did have there was rider control years ago, wasn't there? But
it was just fraught with...
self-interest.
Yes. Speedway's always been fraught with self-interest. That's why this CEO is a good idea. Yeah. I think.
Well, I did notice he was at Monmouth last night, obviously, so I'm sure he was taking a lot of notice as to some of the things that were going on. I think in terms of Phil Morris, I don't think you probably won't start to see any sort of major changes until next year. I think this year is going to be more of a watching brief for him to look at what he likes, what he doesn't like, and then report.
Probably that is, will he still be CEO next year? How long have they appointed him for?
Well, I'd like to think it was a permanent job, really. But,
that's what you would like to think, but
yeah,
we are talking about the BSPA.
Yep, that's because if he's allowed to do the job. So, what's actually the structure with that? Does he? I mean, obviously you've now got a CEO and you've got a chairman. So who reports to who?
Interesting question.
Yeah,
answers on a postcard.
There's a couple of more. Okay. Zach Cook is riding for Brum, says Susan Jordan.
Well, on Saturday.
When is he riding for Brum?
She doesn't say when. She just says Zach Cook riding for Brum.
I'm presuming in place of Wrighty.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to have a guest?
If that's the case, then yeah.
Or are we signing him as on 28 day?
I've been impressed with Zach Cook so far. The first two matches. Heard, it's probably not his sort of track, but he's sort of fitted in quite well. Obviously, I suppose it helps that he's had two matches so far where Wolves have been fairly dominant in, but wait and see what happens when Leicester come to town in a couple of weeks. Cause there's no Saturday, yeah. So
it's against the red car. So
there's more.
Interesting.
Just got time.
I'm guessing it's a 28-day thing.
It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have thought.
I really think that any team that wins the league should allow to track sake team next season. So I understand why they don't allow that, as the same team would probably win every year.
Well, not necessarily, but it is a danger. And then the only way to make that fair would be that everybody builds to the average of the team that won, and that's just going to run away, isn't it?
It is going to run away. Imagine if they'd done that when Cradley had that team in '83. I think the boys of it would have been about 63 or something, wouldn't it? Something stupid like that. So.
Yeah.
I think any team that wins league should allow to track the same team for the following season.
You just read that one out, haven't you?
No, it's a different. Oh yeah, he's written it twice.
Oh, so
But he's
that's the excuse you use.
Yeah.
slightly altered it.
He's
So
seen-
that's
he's
confused
seen
me.
double.
Don't
He's seen
confuse
double,
me.
that's what it is.
I'm really, really old. Zach is a cover for righty.
Yep.
Wolves allowed guest Becker hadn't rode his first meeting when he got injured.
That's true.
That's right, yep.
And there we go.
Okay.
Thus ends the Speedway Tavern.
Oh gosh, it's that time.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
It
Crikey,
is.
yeah.
It's gone really quick, hasn't it?
It has. Well, thank you once again for listening. I expect to hear on the news tomorrow that everybody's been writing to Sky to complain. I hope you all enjoy your speedway this week, and hope the rain doesn't fall too heavily in your patch. And
The rain?
The rain.
Oh, I think it's the rain, I'm going to say.
All right.
Oh, God, get the stuff.
Big girl, isn't she?
You went there, didn't you? You had to go there, didn't you?
Yes.
And on that note, I'll see you all next week. Take care. Have a good
night.
week. Bye bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good nighty.